Well, Bill, I'm so excited to have you on. I know you have one of the biggest teams up there in the Bay Area. I'd love to hear about that for sure. But I would love to start out by just asking you if you can remember and tell us about your first ever real estate transaction. How did you get the client? How did it come about? And how much money did you make?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I started real estate when I was in 2000. So it was about 2010. This was the market. We were coming through the hardest crash ever, right? It was at 2008, 2009, 2010. So, I was selling homes. I remember showing houses, all the foreclosures, there's like, this was before, they were selling REOs without fixing them up, and it was, trashed out properties. And I grew up in an area where they were doing a lot of concrete down the toilets,
Oh,
and just trying to mess up properties. And so those are the homes that we were selling. And some of those homes were 50,000, 100,000, 150,000, $300,000 home back then was like $1 million property today almost. Um, you know, my I would say the first commission is probably selling one of those $150,000 homes, and my take home after all the splits were probably like $1,500 or so. But yeah, my first deals came from actually my neighbor that I grew up with, and he decided he wanted to become an investor, and I was best friends with them, with the kid, and that's how I got the connection. Started working with them, and they blessed me and just let me work out the kinks with them, and I sold them like three homes my first 2 months, 3 months. So
that's
kind of.
awesome, Bill. Man, I remember those times. So I started in '07, so around the same time. And man, I remember like I had one where they stole the appliances like the day of closing. We had another one where we had squatters moved in. I mean, some crazy stories.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All kinds of fun stuff. And so Bill, how did you do that first year in real estate?
So I got started. It was, I don't know, I would say October is when I first got my license. So like that first year, I had like what 3 months or so to kind of like get going. I did like about 3 deals, I would say, 3 deals, and then after that, my the first full year, that's when I kind of started really understanding the business. And um, I would say I did over 10, over 10 sales, and then it just kind of started creeping up ever since.
That's awesome, man. What got you into real estate, by the way, originally?
Are you stressed out juggling? Oh, shoot, I really can't juggle. Now my dog's gonna grab all of it. Okay, listen, this video is brought to you by All-Star VAs. Are you stressed out juggling your calendar, your email, all of the tasks you have to do, plus your personal life, which doesn't leave you any time to actually do the stuff that you got into real estate to do, like going on client appointments, negotiating deals, all the fun stuff. Look, if that's you, I have a solution for you. My team of all-star virtual assistants helps me do all of those things so that I can do the stuff that I love doing. And we can install an all-star virtual assistant for you in your business, whether that's an executive assistant, a social media manager to blow up all your accounts, a marketing manager, an inside sales associate, a customer care manager, and plenty of other positions starting as low as $4 an hour. All you got to do is go to allstarvas.com, book a call with our team. We'll tell you all about the program and see if it's a fit for you. All right, back to the video.
So I've never had a W-2 job. I've never had W-2. I've always been 1099, and I've always been in sales. I've sold everything. Women's shoes at Macy's. I've been a server, yeah, at restaurants. I've been just door-to-door sales, selling Oakland A's tickets, and going business to business. I think so. It's just and then I ended up getting into car sales. So I ended up flipping a lot of cars. I used to go to like a bunch of auctions, and like city auctions and tow yards, and buying cars and spray painting the bumpers and putting them on Craigslist. And so that's what got me into actually like wanting to start my own dealership. And so I got my dealer's license, and I wanted to go through the auctions. And I was like, let me go check out the car dealerships, before I actually opened up my own dealership, because it was a big investment when I was 19, 20 years old. And so I started working at the car dealerships, and then that's when the market crashed. So Once the market crashed, I went on unemployment for a while. All the, everybody got laid off from all the car dealerships, and no cars were selling, and just like houses and everything else out there in the world. And then my wife, girlfriend at the time, was in real estate and doing loans, and I started seeing some of her commission checks, and I was like, you know what? Let me jump in. Let me jump in and see what I could do with the real estate. So that's what got me into it.
That's awesome, Bill. You know, it's interesting. Like some of the best agents I've ever had on my teams and brokerages have been car salesmen. You know, I think the skills you learn there are so transferable to real estate.
Yeah, and door to door sales. I think those are, like if you're door to door sales, it teaches you not to be afraid to walk up to random people and sell them something.
100%, 100%. Man, I remember I sold, and it was in high school. We sold like little booklets for like car washes door to door. And
Yeah,
man, I was always like at the top of that because I just had so much fun with it. Like people were scared and stuff. I'm like, what are you scared of? Like it's just people, you know. Like the worst thing they could say is no.
yeah. That's where I learned it's a numbers game.
Right,
Like it's a numbers game, because that's one of the things. Yeah, like we used to sell like these massage package
right.
coupons. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it sounds like we sold the same thing. And
similar.
but it was it's like you go, if you meet with 100 people, you're gonna sell at least 10. And I think we made like $10 off of each one that we sold. So we would make $100 a day was our goal.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's fantastic. All right, Bill. So fast forward us. You started in that time, and then now, you know, 15 years later, what does your business look like now in terms of, you know, working by yourself? Yeah, I know you have a big team. I'd love to hear about the structure and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, getting into real estate, I think what separates me and from anybody else that's out there, and this is some of the things I talk to agents that are looking to join, our team in the area, is I was an agent on a team for like 9 years with splits and all that. And so it really taught me like how to run a team, how not to run a team. And I think what's most important is I've learned what agents like and what they don't like when being on a team, because I was one for so long. And so I think that's what really like just like I don't know, I kind of got towards the end of the year where I was making 300,000 $400,000 a year, and I was happy and we were making what we wanted. It's just my time was being taken like every weekend, every night. We were making a lot of money, and I still had a good enough balance where I could go on trips and do things, but I was working every weekend, every night, every evening. And so that's when I was like, man, what's next? Because I never wanted a team. Like I 6 years ago to this day, so like our team is 6 years now, but I hated the fact, like I didn't want expenses. I was scared of the market crashing. I was like, I want to be able to back out and jump out of whatever I'm in at any time. And because I started seeing my old team lead broker and all his expenses, and he had to pay, and I was like, I'm not, so that was one of the things that I kind of looked at where, but then I started looking at the time, right? And then that's when I was like, okay, how can I trade my time? And that's when I started doing a lot of social media. I started doing the video thing. I went to, nobody else was really doing video in the Bay Area. There was like one guy down in the South Bay, nobody around me. But that's when I went to this Gary Vee event in Miami. It's like Agent 2025 or whatever. And I went to that and saw all these real estate agents and professionals with all these videographers. And I was like, what is going on here? And so that event made it click for me to where, all right, video's in, let's do it. I just, pulled the trigger. And so I started generating a lot of business, a lot of leads. And then once I started doing that and I started realizing I needed more time, then that's when I started my own team. And so, I started off with about 3 agents when I went to go start a team at Compass, and was with them for about 2 years. We grew to become the top team really fast over there. We had about 15 agents or so, and I think we were doing about like 40 million, 50 million back then. So, I didn't have the direction, or I didn't know what was the next moves or where to grow. And, because we were the biggest fish over there, like there was nobody else to like teach us how to grow. So that's when I ended up going over to EXP and collaborating with people that were way bigger than, where I am. And so I became the small fish again. And so that's what's really kind of taught me and showed me the way of, where we are now. So, fast forward from then, we're about 60 agents, I would say right now. And we just hit $208 million in 2024, and this year I think we'll probably surpass that 350 this year.
Wow, that's awesome, Bill. That's so cool, man. So I got a question for you, because I've had teams before, and same feeling as you. Like, there's a lot of things that I think agents don't like about being on teams. So what for you was like the number one biggest thing that you said, I didn't like this when I was on a team, and when I start my own, I'm going to do it differently?
Yeah, I think it's I think that's a tough question, right? Like there's a lot of different things. It's, I think, control, right? Like being able to, like, I like not pushing agents too hard, like, but there's that give and take, right? And I think that's one of the things where it's like, if you push agents too hard and they can't handle being pushed too hard, then they're going to back out. And I saw that a lot on my other team where, like I was even like helping and train and like teach agents, but then the team leader that I had, he was sometimes a little too harsh and like would scare them off, and like they would like back off. So I think that's one of the things that I really learned, and like that, just like there's that happy medium, and it's every agent is different, every agent has different goals, and so it's kind of learning from that and making that process better, and
Yeah.
and matching their accountability levels.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so Bill, on that note, because I talk to a lot of new agents, and a lot of times they'll ask me like, what should I do? Should I join a team? Should I stay on my own? What is ultimately the value of, let's say, a newer agent coming to you and joining your team versus just trying to go at it alone?
Yeah, so the two differences, right? Like if you were to like just get your license, or if you're even an experienced agent and you're looking to revamp up and get going, like you have to build everything out. Systems, you have to have the admins, you have to have the support, you have to get the TCs, you have to, the lead generation. There's like, you'll start to realize that there's a lot of departments and there's a lot of things that you need to do. And there's overhead that comes with that at most times, if not time. And, you could be shown exactly what you need to do. But one thing I've learned, especially over the last couple of years, it takes time to kind of build, even though that you're handed the secret sauce, it takes time to even like work on that secret sauce to make it exactly what it is. So that's the other piece. That if you join a team, you just plug in to what's already working, and you just fast forward everything. You don't need to learn anything. You don't need to spend any money. Like it's already something that you could plug into, and then all you need to do is just do what you like to do, which is selling homes. So like all you need to do, like all I want agents on my team to do is focus on meeting with new clients. That is it. Like I don't want them to figure out how to learn systems and programs and all that other stuff. Like just get out there and continue to meet with as many people as you can. Go show houses, go write offers. That's it. And I think that's the difference, being solo and being on a team. Because if you're not on a team that handles all the back end stuff to help you support everything that you need to do, you have to add all that time to being a solo.
Yep, that's right. I completely agree with you. And Bill, in terms of like when agents join your team, so do they get like the clients? Are you giving them clients or leads, or just actually teaching them how to generate those leads on their own?
It's both. I feel, that's one thing that I've gotten really good at, and mastered, is lead generation. Like I could turn that up or down whenever. However, we always have more than enough leads than agents that we have, which is a good problem. And, I think the thing is like agents need a jumpstart. They need to get that snowball effect happening. They need some momentum. So we do like to throw our agents out there and start to get them in front of as many people as possible, as fast as possible. So then they could start to get some business and get some experience and confidence. So then they could start to get some deals. Once they start to get some deals and they start to close and make some money, they see what we're doing, so they could start to invest in themselves and start doing it on their own.
Yeah, 100%, agree with that. And I love the fact that you're talking about, going out on appointments and negotiating deals and stuff. Ultimately, that's the money-making stuff. So many agents get bogged down in all this other, minutia and things like that, just to keep busy, and they're not focused on what's really important, which is, where you kind of put them. So I think that's great. All right, Bill, so give me the secret sauce. Let's say I dropped you in a brand new market. I moved you over here to Dallas. You don't know anyone. You don't have your team. Your lead gen levers aren't on, and you're starting from zero, what would that 30, 60, 90-day plan look like for you to start generating some business and making some money?
Start to get everybody to know who I am, and start to just be everywhere, be anywhere, guerrilla market the hell out of that market, at all levers. And if I had, the capital to do it, then, one thing I've noticed is you can't just sign up for Zillow. You can't just sign up for Realtor. You can't sign up for the easy online lead gen because they're probably already taken. And because we've looked at expanding and stuff like that, you can't just be like, oh. So I think the other piece of that is that's how I built my business, is through video marketing and retargeting, running ads, joining community stuff, start going to all the networking stuff. I think that's, what I would first start to do, and start to call out who I'm looking for, which is buyers and sellers, and start to generate leads. And I know it would take time, but once it starts, it doesn't slow down. But I know that I would probably be able to go into any market and start to get my face known, and my team known, more than anybody else out there, just through advertising and marketing.
Got it. Let's talk a little bit more about video, because that's a huge passion of mine. Obviously we're doing a video here for everything we do. I think it's such a great tool. Specifically, when you say video, what are you doing with it?
Anything and everything. I think, prior to starting my team, that's how our team got built, was just, it's the creatives. Like my goal is to always have different and better video than everybody else. I hate having the same looking videos as everybody else, like the talking head videos and the listing videos that all look similar. Like, so I think that's where it's like, I'm always looking to be like that trailblazer of like, what's new, what's up and coming. And I think that it's looking to see what's happening across the country and across the world. So, it's, you don't know what you don't know. So seeing what other videos and what other kind of styles, not just from real estate, but other industries, and bringing that to a market that has never seen that type of video. And, so I think one of our big pieces that we like to do, especially with our brand new agents, is listing videos and bringing the entire team to those videos, and not just doing collaboration videos, but also like having our brand new agents take our listing and act like it's their listing. And now they have a professional listing video, and like that helps them get listings, but it also helps us get more listings from sellers. So we can say, look, you don't just get me like selling your home, you're getting my entire team to sell your home. And so it's, for us, we leverage that to, get more. But I think that's, it's all the different type, like what you put out. What I've learned too in the past is, when I first started doing videos, I was doing a lot of buyer videos, like buyer value videos. And so I was getting a lot of, I would talk a lot about, no money down programs, and, buyer, first time home buyer assistant programs. And guess what I was getting? I was getting only first time home buyers, and I was getting people with no credit, or people that couldn't buy that, so like what you put out is what you get. And I was like, man, I want listings. How do I get listings? And, that's when I started like only making videos now around listings, and putting out content and value pieces around listings, and showing people that I know how to fix up homes, and, the before and the afters, and, just always like just making sure you're recording everything that you do. And now that you have a bunch of clips, you could do right now video from stuff that you posted today and you captured today, but you could also collect all that stuff and make, now with CapCut and all this other stuff, it makes your videos look even cooler, faster. So, I think that's the piece to that. And now my videos have changed, because now it's all about recruiting. And so now I'm like, all my videos now are only to agents, and, reaching out to agents, and, giving value and showing off what the team does and who we are. And now all I'm attracting, and the leads that I generate now, are agents. So
Right.
it showed, like,
Makes sense.
I proved the system 3 times. I proved it with buyers, and I proved it with sellers, and now I proved it with agents. So that's, just copy that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Bill, are you posting? Is this like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, like all the above? What's your primary network?
Everywhere. So every platform that's out there. I try to, we used to make different sizes and different type of pieces for every platform, but we kind of just, we make one piece of content, and we float it around, and I run ads on all of them. So running ads is huge on, TikTok, like the organic reach, but like, the cost of Facebook and Instagram ads right now are crazy high versus what it used to be. But TikTok, I could spend $10 and reach 1,000 people. On Facebook, I could spend $10 and reach like 100 people.
That's awesome.
So
That's it's really really good to know for sure. Now, Bill, you talk about all these cool things you're doing, and obviously you've grown from where you started by yourself. But at this point, what does kind of your staff look like? I'm huge into leverage and delegation and stuff like that. So, who helps you on a day-to-day basis with all these things you're doing?
yeah, so we built out. I have a very large virtual team, but I also have a sales manager, and her name is Daisy, and she's running with the agents. So we've created multiple layers of support for our agents. So it's not just me. You have her, and like she's the one that's helping all the agents and managing all the agents, and with all the coaching and training and stuff. And then we also have the back end that supports. So we have a virtual team of probably about 10 admin staff. We also have a mentor program to help with like our brand new licensed agents. And then like I said, the VA staff we got a CRM manager that all they do is just help the agents manage all the leads, and they're in the system, just making sure that, we're not dropping any balls. I got an agent success manager who helps us with all the agents that are coming in and just helps, them know where to go and how to help and get people signed up. I have marketing manager that helps with all the marketing for the entire team, anything that we need help with. I got video editors, video guy. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So you've obviously built out, this really big network, which is great. Let me ask you interesting. Oh, by the way, I should have asked you before, and I think you've mentioned, obviously you're recruiting agents. So if there's an agent watching this, they're in your area and they're interested, we will have all the links down below, and you're actively hiring at this point, I'm assuming.
Obviously, yes.
Yeah.
We're always looking for hungry agents. And I think here's a big piece for us is we've, changed the way, I was just building just to build. Like anybody breathing that raised their hand that said they wanted to join, I was letting everybody. It really diluted everything that we were doing. And I think now we've really learned that energy attracts energy. Like if you have negative energy, you're going to attract negative energy. Like, so it's just like we're really protecting that culture now, because now everybody on our team is here to win. And if you're not here to win, you're not on our team. So we're definitely making sure we're selective with either you got to want it more than we want it for you.
Yeah,
We're going
that's right.
to coach you out. And
So
like that,
you stole kind of my next topic. I was actually going to ask you, so what qualities do you look for in an agent when you're recruiting and hiring?
yeah, it's like one thing that we can't teach is hustle. Like we can't teach someone to get to work and hustle on their own and execute. I mean, we have the yellow brick road, we got the secret sauce, right? But it's up to the agent that actually executes.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. And other than like hustle and natural things like that, anything specific like in terms of their track record or things that you're looking for that show you that that person's going to be more successful?
Man, I probably meet with, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 agents a week. They all say the right things. And so it's so
Yeah.
hard to judge a book by its cover.
That's right.
I try to scare them. I try to scare them as much as I can, during that initial recruit meeting.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, dude, it's everybody comes from so many different backgrounds, and everybody says what you want them to say until you actually get them in the system. And as long as, I tell them like, look, I'm going to push you guys. We're going to hold you accountable. We're going to coach you. We want you to show up. Like, this isn't something that you could do part-time. Like, I put all this stuff into them, and that does kind of filter out some, but sometimes, some people will hop in and you don't know until you actually throw them in there.
Yeah,
But
it's
usually the first
so
week,
sorry about that. Yeah, I was going to say it's so interesting to me. Like, we just hired like a group of 3 ISAs for our team, and like the one guy that I thought was going to be unbelievable ended up leaving, and the guy that I didn't think was going to be that good ended up being the top guy from that class. So it's like doing an NFL draft, man. You never know.
yeah, it is. It's yeah, that's why, we're open to everybody, right? Like we're like, look, let's bring you in, we'll give you a chance. but we're not going to just let you fall behind. Like one of the things I say is like, no agent left behind, because we're going to push you, we're going to coach you, and either you got to want it more than we want it for you, or you're not on this team. And like, it took a while. It took almost a year of doing that with the team and releasing people. And, like now, like everybody's kind of bought into that. And like, we almost like organically built our culture through that process.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. So, Bill, you mentioned different locations, brokerages you were at before, and then now at EXP. What role do you think kind of being in the environment of EXP has played in your success and your growth?
I don't think it's to be honest, it's not just EXP itself. It's the group that I joined up with, and and the people that I surround myself. I see a lot of people that joined up under EXP, and they didn't sign up, and that's one thing that nobody knows about is they don't know like who you sign up under is the most important part. Because you could sign up under EXP on their main website, but then you don't even have a sponsor, so then you're just like working with headquarters that's virtual, and you know what I mean. So I think that's where it's like so important. Like you have to understand like who you're signing up under and what they offer you and their upline, because the way I look at it is like whoever your upline is are your coaches. Like you're able to like sign up free coaching basically through the upline, and leveraging it, and not just like you could have the best of the best, but if you don't plug in or leverage or use any of it, like none of it works. So I think that's the other piece, and that's the same thing with the team. Like if an agent is on my team and they're not using anything that we offer, like why are you here? It's not going to benefit. So that's where I give the benefit to the Fast Forward Movement Group with Kyle Whistle and Dan Beer, and my upline is with Kenny Fast, and so like Jeremy Larson. So like those are there's true collaboration there where like they're actually really trying to help me because there's real incentive. Like they're making money off of my growth, right? Like I think that's real. It's that's a big piece of our growth and why EXP is what it is. Like I was a part of another company and like they're talking about like, yeah, it's collaboration, but it was not collaborative where my office was. Like nobody, everybody looked at us like the new people and thought we were weird because we had video guys with us, and like nobody wanted to help us or give us advice. So I think that's where now we're in an atmosphere where I jumped into this big ocean now, and I'm no longer the big fish, and I'm one of the smallest fishes again, and it's helped us become one of the big fishes again. But I'm still a small fish compared to all the. So, yeah, I think that's a big piece of it.
Yeah, it's interesting to me how like the misconception out there that like EXP is a recruiting company or whatever, and then what people don't understand. I was just talking to an agent about this. Is that you're like not understanding the point. The point is that if I have a vested interest in Bill succeeding, I'm going to collaborate with you and I'm going to help you. So like you said, you're getting all these coaches that are going to help you because everyone wins together. If you don't produce, then no one wins, and that's the great part about it.
And who you join with is who you become. So if you join under somebody that is mediocre, like what do you think you're going to become?
That's right.
And that's right. When we're recruiting agents on teams and they're on other teams, what did that team leader do? Like what have they accomplished? Like that's all you're going to be able to do because that's all they know how to do.
Yep. Yeah, that's for sure. So Bill, you've had all this amazing success. Congratulations, of course, growing and all that kind of stuff. What's a challenge or obstacle that you're going through right now, maybe in your business that you're trying to overcome and work through?
Yeah, I think it's, again, it's balance, just like how, like work-life balance kind of thing. But it's also like work balance where we have all these different departments within our team. We got the agents, we got the ISAs, we got our operations, we got systems like we just hired, we just brought in a transaction coordination department now. Like, so I think that's the challenge where it's just like when you got some things doing really well because you're putting a lot of time towards it, these levers over here with these other departments are starting to drop, and you got to like run over to those departments. You got to like, bring those ones back up. And then it's like, which departments are more important than others. And, I think that's the challenge, that I always face every day. I'm like, man, what can I do for us to be better? How can I, and then we only have so much time in the day to where it's like, I can't lift up every single department every time. So now I think that's really the challenge, and the way to overcome it is, one thing I've been learning is like not trying to do too much at the same time, and until we move on to the next department, like making sure that we get everything done in this department first before I go to that department. So like, our ISA department failed, not failed, but it dropped a lot because I was like focusing on these other departments, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, okay, we got these other departments really strong now. Now I got to get back to the ISA department and build that back up. But now I'm putting all my time and energy over there. Now I got to go, you know what I mean? So I think it's there's work-life balance, but there's work balance.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, Bill, you're doing an awesome job, man. I mean, I think anyone watching this could see you've built such an amazing organization. And, if you're an agent, I think the value, to me is so clear of, joining a team like yours if you're in the Bay Area there. And you cover the entire San Francisco Bay Area?
We're the East Bay. So I would say more, Contra Costa, Solano counties.
Got it. Is that Oakland too?
Yeah, we'll cover a little bit of Oakland.
Got it. Yeah, I used to live in Southern California, so we used to fly up there all the time and then drive to Napa, one of my favorite spots.
Yeah, I live about 15 minutes from Napa now. So.
Oh, no way. That's awesome. Wait, so that's far from where you're from, the Bay Area, right?
Well, I'm in Hercules, the office that I'm in right now, but that's 20 minutes without traffic to Oakland, 20 minutes to Oakland. And then there's another little bridge. I'm on the other side of that bridge, which is 15 minutes from here. So, I would say, I don't know, it just depends on traffic. Yeah, we're not too far.
Do you guys go up to Napa a lot?
Yeah. We go there for restaurants and eating and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's, it's funny. People ask me like, do you miss California? I'm like, I miss I could still go, obviously it's just further, but I used to love going up to Napa and Santa Barbara and stuff like that. I love those areas.
Yeah. No, it's all good.
Yeah, those are good. All right, what's your favorite winery in Napa?
I've been to Dallas a couple of times, and so we've gone to a couple of conferences and events. So got an idea what Dallas is like now. Yeah,
we always have something going on. Next time you're here, we definitely have to meet up. All right, so wait, Bill, before you go, what's your favorite winery in Napa?
Man, there's quite a few of them, but I like trying to think of the name.
That's a good one.
The big bunny on the front.
Yeah, that's a good one. Nice.
That one's probably,
Excellent.
They're all good.
Yeah, there's some really good ones and great restaurants for sure. All right, so Bill, last question for you. Leave us with some solid gold advice from Bill Davis here. You're talking to all these young budding real estate agents who want to make it and one day become as legendary as you.
Yeah, I think it's keep it stupid simple. Like, don't focus on all those shiny objects out there in this world. Like, math is the path. The only thing that's going to help you win is how many people are you meeting with every single week. And don't focus on anything else but that. Everything else will start to, you'll get better at. But it's all about how many connections, how many buyers and sellers that you're working with at any given time, and focusing on your pipeline. Don't worry about your marketing and all that other stuff yet. Just get out there and, join a team to build that pipeline. So then, you can start getting some money happening and some business happening and all that stuff. So the marketing and all the other stuff will come.
Such solid advice, because most agents have that all flipped around, and so that's great. I love that. Well, Bill, thank you so much, man. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And you guys send all your referrals for that entire Bay Area, East Bay, over to Bill. And if you're an agent up there, hit him up and see if maybe a career on the team is right for you. So thanks so much for your time today, Bill. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, Danny.
Yeah.
Appreciate you for having me.